Good day, folks. Benjamin Yurkovich here with Washington Weather Chasers. Just wanted to do a quick update on the upcoming weather we have over the next couple days. Here's looking at the satellite imagery. We can see our Beefcake atmospheric river off in the distance there. It's going to start affecting the region tomorrow. And this is looking at the integrated vapor transport as that thing kind of comes into the area. It's going to be pretty wild. This is looking at the current hazards that we have up for the state. We got flood watches up for all of western Washington right now. We also have some coastal flood advisories and small craft advisories off the coast and in the Puget Sound as well. And here is looking at the HRRR for the system that we're going to have today. It's a bit of a weaker system, but it's still going to have some rain, some high elevation mountain snow. East of the Cascades is going to get some rain as well. And it's going to have a little bit of wind with it as well. It's going to be noticeable down there from about probably, well, most of the Puget Sound is going to get a bit breezy. But down by Olympia, Joint Base Lewis McChord could get a gust up to 30-35 miles per hour. And then east of the Cascades is going to get a bit breezy as well. And up there in the higher elevations could get some gusts up over 40 miles per hour. And then scooting off to the system that's going to be coming through tomorrow. So that was the system from today, and then that right there is the system that's going to be moving towards Washington State and is going to begin affecting Washington State tomorrow morning. And this is looking at integrated vapor transport. Gives us a good indicator of how much vapor is in the atmosphere and is going to be coming towards the region. And you notice how the vapor kind of gets shunted up against the mountains there, and then the integrated vapor transport number drops off after the Cascade Mountains. And that's because this vapor is going to be getting wrung out like a sponge over the Olympic Mountains and the Cascade Mountains. This is looking at the HRRR model for when that atmospheric river begins to come into the area on Monday. And look just how much rain this composite reflectivity, this is like simulated radar, is going to be coming over Washington State. This is tomorrow morning through tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, and then tomorrow night sometime the atmospheric river is probably going to slide south, probably all the way to Oregon, and then it'll begin sliding north again sometime during the day on Tuesday. And as that atmospheric river comes in, it is going to have some more wind with it, maybe more on the level of this wind event that we had this last weekend. And so here is Monday morning. You can see that the wind gusts start picking up out there on the coast. And sometimes the HRRR model, which I'm looking at, can tend to overdo wind just a little bit. But we're just going to look at this, and probably we'll have wind gusts slightly lower than this, in my opinion. But out there on the coast tomorrow morning, it's calling for gusts up around 50 miles per hour, maybe a little bit higher as we go into the afternoon. But then look here in the Puget Sound and also up there in Skagit County. From about Everett south, it's calling for wind gusts up to 40 to 44 miles per hour. And there will be some wind sheltered areas, of course, that don't get anything. But if you live near the water, it's going to get pretty breezy. But it also does have some gusty winds extending a little bit further inland. And then as we head into the evening, it gives a shot of stronger wind for some areas. The HRRR is hinting that wind gusts up towards 50 might be possible down there by like JBLM, also a couple spots up near 50 near Payne Field and whatnot. So yeah, we'll just have to keep a close eye on the headlines the National Weather Service puts out for this. And it's also calling for maybe a wind gust up over 55 miles per hour out there on the central and southwest Washington coast. And then it brings a surge of westerly wind down the Strait of Juan de Fuca. It doesn't look totally crazy, but it does have it extending into western Snohomish County sometimes. And sometimes if those westerly winds can actually make it into Snohomish County, that can cause a few power outages because our trees in West Snohomish County are not quite as accustomed to strong westerly wind. And then the HRRR also has some pretty strong wind east of the Cascades. So we'll have to keep a close eye on how that plays out. This is looking at the National Water Prediction Service, and this is looking at the gauges on rivers in the area that are expected to reach flood stage. Every orange box is for minor flood stage, every red box is for moderate flood stage, and every purple box is for major flood stage. So there's quite a few areas in the river that are expected to reach flood stage, but I'm going to highlight the Snoqualmie River here. It's expected to reach major flood stage starting at 4 a.m. on Tuesday and crest during the day on Tuesday, late Tuesday morning. The current expectation is that the river is going to get somewhere near 58.59 inches and is going to stay there for a few hours. But we'll have to keep an eye on this. Usually the rivers get their forecasts, and then we only have so much of an idea of what the atmosphere is actually going to do and how much rain is actually going to fall. This is looking at precipitable water anomaly. And this is pretty interesting to take a look at. Basically, look at these figures down here, the max figure. Up there in the Cascades, the precipitable water is going to be around 300% plus of normal with this atmospheric river. So this is for the first round through Tuesday. It's calling for anywhere from 5 to maybe 6 to 7 inches up in the Cascades, same in the Olympics, and more in the South Cascades. And in the lowlands, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain. We got some rain shadowing going on here in West Snohomish County, over the islands, East Jefferson County. And if we were to look at the HRRR model here, it's showing higher amounts up in the Cascades, and this is mostly because it's just higher resolution. But where the atmospheric river is orographically working with the mountains the most, and the sponge is getting wrung out the most, it has a couple areas getting maybe 8 to 10 inches of rain in the Cascades, and similar amounts in the Olympics, and obviously even more precipitation is getting wrung out over Mount Rainier, but above about 7,000 feet, that's going to be all falling as snow. And this is looking at the national blend of models, and it's also showing quite a bit of rain over the Cascades and the Olympics, anywhere from about 5 to 6 to 7 inches, more in the southern Cascades. And this is just for that first round through Tuesday, and then we start piling up more rain as we head into the week. So yeah, folks, interesting weather pattern coming up. I'm going to be planning on doing some storm chasing with this. I would suggest that if you live near a river, that you get familiar with a website like this. Where you can find this is you head over to, not that website, weather.gov, and you can just click on Western Washington, and then rivers and lakes, and then National Water Prediction Center is one of the spots you can go, or you can go to River Forecast if that part is working, or you can go to Northwest River Forecast Center. This is another map you can look at for different rivers that are expected to reach flood stage. And yeah, a bunch of good resources there on the Rivers and Lakes tab. If you live near a river, pay attention and check in with the National Weather Service frequently to see if there's a flood warning for your river. And it's probably best if you own a farm or something in low-lying areas to start making preparations. And if you've gone through this multiple times, I'm sure you guys already know the drill. All right, folks, I will talk to you later.